There has been a lot of excitement in America for the last 6 years. From coast to coast, in almost every state, banners have been unfurled, bands have played, and people have gathered to hear eloquent speeches. These colorful, often festive occasions, which were covered by the press, radio, and television, didn't commemorate holidays or historic anniversaries. Yet they happened almost everywhere, summer, winter, spring, and fall, as Americans gathered to celebrate the completion of local sections of the national system of interstate and defense highways. These occasions came complete with all the trimmings, ribbon cuttings, pageantry, grandiloquence and politics, motorcades, and stirring marches. They were enjoyed by almost everyone. Yet these many people were celebrating more than the completion of a local road running from state line to state line, or from one metropolitan area to the next. They were celebrating by bits and pieces the completion of the greatest network of highways ever built by man. For the highways of America, which for so many years were an assortment of as many designs and pavements as there were states, are now becoming one big road that can take you anywhere faster, safer, and more directly than ever before. What is this big road? Where is it going? How much has been built? How much is yet to come? These are questions we ask as we look at a progress report on the national system of interstate and defense highways. With the passage by Congress of the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956, the national system of interstate and defense highways got underway. Under this system, it is intended to build 41,000 miles of multiple lane, controlled access highways in 15 years. Highways of the future, for they would be adequate for traffic expected by 1975. We had to have these roads to meet the economic growth, the population shifts, and the defense needs of our growing country. Before these roads were started, there were slightly more than 1 million miles of paved roads and streets in the United States. This allowed just 82 feet for each of the nation's 74 million vehicles. In densely populated regions and in areas where there were few good roads, most of us didn't even have our 82 feet. Since World War II, state highway departments have built 163,000 miles of new roads. In the same period, auto manufacturers turned out so many new vehicles that it would require 264,000 miles of highways just to park them, bumper to bumper. But highway engineers agreed that we didn't need more roads. What America needed was better roads. Let's see what has been done about this. As of September 30th, 1961, 4,774 miles of the interstate system were under construction with interstate funds. And engineering right-of-way acquisition was in progress on another 10,336 miles. Thus, some form of work was underway or completed on 26,362 miles, which is about 65% of the total program. Between September 30th, 1960 and September 30th, 1961, 1,745 miles of the system were completed to final standards, while the incorporation of existing toll roads, bridges, and tunnels as permitted by law added an additional 2,270 miles. By November 7th, 1961, over 11,250 miles of the interstate system was in use by passenger and commercial vehicles. This means that 27% of the interstate and defense highway system is now open. When completed, this network is expected to carry about 20% of the total traffic in the nation. More than $11.8 billion has been put to work on the federal aid interstate system since the accelerated program began in 1956. This includes money for construction, engineering, and right-of-way acquisition. Planning and actual construction on the interstate routes is the responsibility of individual states, subject to approval by the Bureau of Public Roads. The states receive a yearly apportionment of federal interstate funds for work on approved interstate routes. The apportionment of $2.4 billion for fiscal year 1963 was announced on August 17, 1961. If it takes a lot of money to build a highway, it also takes a lot of men, a lot of planning, and considerable time. As the program continues, however, engineers and contractors strive for new and better ways of building highways, such as this mammoth slip-form paver, which can turn out a paving slab 36 feet wide in one pass. Fed from 3 mixers, the machine places, vibrates, and compacts the pavement without use of side forms. Laying an extremely smooth pavement between its movable forms, this machine is probably the crude forerunner of giant paving machines which one day will grade and place complete highways in a single operation as they travel across the land. Each $1 billion of federal aid highway work in active construction status generates on-site employment for approximately 48,000 men with a weekly payroll of about $4,650,000. But a progress report on the interstate highway system must include more than completed sections of highways or the men and money it takes to build them. For these new roads will mean more to us than dependable, rapid transportation. They will mean the savings of many lives, for this great system is designed to be safe. According to the National Safety Council, these highways will save about 4,000 lives per year. And the minute you drive these new roads, you'll know why. To qualify as a part of the interstate system, these highways must have controlled access. That is, entrances and exits at carefully controlled points only. All other roads pass over or under the big road. Acceleration lanes at access points are provided so that converging traffic has an opportunity to gain speed and enter the highway at a speed equal to the traffic already on the road. In many areas, these lanes are colored for easy recognition. Wide median strips between opposing traffic lanes eliminate traffic friction. And where space is at a premium, guardrails are erected for additional safety. All-weather shoulders offer a haven for vehicles in distress. Parallel roads border many portions of the interstate system, eliminating the need to use the big highway for trips of a few blocks or service calls. Where needed, fencing keeps the highway free of pedestrians and protects children at play. In many urban areas, overpasses carry pedestrians safely across the road. Safe illumination at night is another feature of interstate highways in urban areas. And better and more uniform sign information makes everyone's trip faster, easier, and safer. Much of the interstate system is designed to ease transportation problems in urban and suburban areas. And well, it should, for according to the U.S. Census Bureau, 90% of the population growth in the United States will take place in suburban areas this decade. These stretches of highway have specific problems, and one of the largest of these is rush hour traffic. Each area treats these problems in its own way. On the John C. Lodge Freeway in Detroit, the Michigan State Highway Department is experimenting with a closed-circuit television system, which may influence changes in future freeway construction. 14 cameras relay pictures to monitors in the central control room of the nation's first large-scale closed-circuit TV traffic control system. Here, one man can cover a 3-mile stretch of highway and is able to reduce speed limits, close lanes, and shut entrance ramps as emergencies, congestion, and stoppages develop. On the Mark Twain Expressway, which starts in downtown St. Louis at the Veterans Bridge and spreads from 4 to 8 lanes heading north and northwest from the downtown area to connect with Interstate 44, peak traffic is handled by a segmented movable median, riding on tracks and operated automatically from a pit beneath the pavement. In the rural areas, some states have included roadside parks, such as this one in Kansas along IH-70, where travelers can rest, picnic, or just stretch their legs. Commercial drivers appreciate these rest areas, and tourists enjoy the scenery, as in this wooded section along Interstate Route 90 in Ohio. On some of the existing tollways which have been incorporated in the interstate system, attractive restaurants and rest areas, such as this Oasis, which spans Interstate 90 in Illinois, add to the pleasure of traveling by car. So the new interstate system will mean many different things to many different people. Certainly traveling the entire system would be a memorable experience, but few of us have the time for such a trip. Then again, more than a decade lies ahead before the project reaches completion. But by driving the many miles already open to traffic by the end of 1961, an exciting idea can be had of what lies ahead. The encouraging thing is that these roads are only the beginning. In another decade, these fragments will have been joined, and from Maine to California, Washington to Florida, our country will be united as never before. And so a progress report on the national system of interstate and defense highways of today can only end with an optimistic look at tomorrow.